Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. I'm Taylor Gonzalez, and I am thrilled to have Misty Rosas here today, who you guys know from the Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian. She's played several characters, but there are two that are beloved by the Star Wars fan community, including Kuiil and Frog Lady. Misty, how are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me on
Oh,
your trip.
thank you for being here. This is so exciting. I love both of those characters that I just mentioned, and it is such a thrill and an honor to be speaking with you. And just, I cannot wait to talk about these characters.
Well, I'm ready. So,
When and how did you find out that you were going to be taking a trip to a galaxy far, far away and joining Star Wars?
let's see. I was in the late summer of 2018. I had auditioned and then there's a time period of not hearing anything. And one day while I'm getting ready to go to my workout, my agent called and said, you need to look at your email. I'm sending you something. And yeah, I received my deal memo. And at the very bottom of the page, it had, Lucasfilm and Star Wars. And yeah, it was an overwhelming moment of like excitement and gratitude really for the journey because it was a moment too of doing a lot of work and kind of in a limbo of I'm not sure what I'm doing or where I'm going, and then bam, there it is.
How did your friends and your family react once you were able to share the news that you were cast in Star Wars?
um, my younger brothers, as well as myself, we grew up with Star Wars. So they're really good at containing their excitement, but it is just things like, my brothers, they have all my character shirts, and one of my favorite things is I collect for them Legacy Effects, who I work with in tandem on my characters. They always create their own t-shirts for each season, and so I always get them one, and
Oh.
add here and there, and especially when I'm around, they wear their shirts. So yeah, there's a lot of, I think, excitement and curiosity because I didn't obviously, I wasn't, I wasn't really in a place where, especially with season one with Kuiil, not really sharing, did the work, but I'm part of a team, and Nick Nolte is, it's his name, like he is a superstar. So, it was more important to really celebrate what he brought to it. And I was just part of it. So yeah, it was like a slow kind of, little by little people started to um, discover it. And yeah, there's just a flood of excitement and, kind words. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's very sweet. What was the collaboration process like between you and Nick Nolte? Because you were in the suit and he's the voice. So how did that work? Did you have like lines fed to you and then like how did that work?
Yeah, it's all of that. He recorded all of his dialogue with Dave Filoni and John Favreau, just before we started shooting. And I also had my scripts, you know, before we began. So I knew dialogue, and obviously for us, we were pretty it was pretty tied into what our dialogue was going to be because he recorded it, prior to our on-set shoot. So my team had the dialogue tracks, and there's a big board. They have a whole elaborate technical setup for what it is we bring, and it's done on the computer. So they each line had a key. And so, and that was challenging even for, that puppeteering team because they had to really watch what I was doing and then try to time and, push the key for certain lines to come out, and then my other puppeteers that are right by, monitors are watching too. And it just we've worked together so much on other, projects and characters, and then not necessarily together, but also as artists on different projects. So doing this type of work, when we came back together, just it kind of felt like a gift, but also people working hard at what they do for so long and then coming back together again. We managed to fuse really quite quickly. Obviously, the first few takes sometimes would be a little out of sync, um, but as we got the flow of it and the flow of the whole of the scene, it all would come together and blend and mesh really well. So
Oh, that is great. Yeah, I
yeah.
loved your performance, and Kuiil became such a fan favorite instantly. Like instantly, I remember the next day people were talking about him, and I Have Spoken was everywhere, and there was fan art on Twitter, and I was like, oh wow, like this is such an exciting new character. And the line I Have Spoken has joined like the cosmos of all the, I don't know, like iconic one-liners of Star Wars. How does it feel to be part of a character that is so adored and has joined this legacy?
Oh my gosh. Again, it's just gratitude. Because I couldn't have done this character when I was in my 20s. Um, I've needed this, my life experience and the roller coaster of it, the ups and downs and all of that in order to embody such a character. And also, too, he's very much born of my journey as a yogi and a yoga teacher. So, the whole of what he is, again, it's just gratitude because it comes from life experience. And so to be able to bring that to people, and that type of kindness and wisdom and empathy and compassion, it's just, it's a kind of, I don't want to call it a once in a lifetime experience, but it is really, really just special. So, and I knew it when I received my scripts and was able to kind of really see his full arc. I was like, whoa, this is a gift. And, yeah, and I'm just beyond grateful that people really resonated with him. So, because we really worked hard and we were very, very focused on set. Didn't really, anytime I walked on the set for him, especially, it was super, I wouldn't say serious, but just really focused. So, not as bubbly and social as usual on set. And I feel like that focus and that work paid off for our team. So, yeah.
That's incredible. Well, Frog Lady also, I don't know, like blew up on social media as well. She was first introduced in, I believe it was chapter 5 of season 1, and then really took center stage in chapter 10 of season 2. And I I remember everyone was talking about Frog Lady, and I have seen so much incredible cosplay of Frog Lady just online. Have you had a chance to see that in person yet?
Yeah, and it is it's exceptional. I mean, and I'm always, very concerned about the cosplayers in these suits because I know that they're hot and it's heavy and just like, are you hydrating? And yeah, I their craftsmanship, it's exquisite. So it's really beautiful.
And the character design is just so iconic. Do you remember the first time you were shown what your character of Frog Lady was going to look like?
Yeah, I mean, they brought me into Legacy Effects and I had to do, I think, just a skull cap test to make sure everything was still fitting right. And they sculpted, I did a cast for my hands and arms for her hands. They were super beautiful and so, delicate. So much so that this part of the hand, the combination of the weight of the pack
Mhm.
and the leather straps. And I was originally holding onto it like I would to take some of the weight off of my back. But during the shoot, one of my puppeteers came up to me and wearing the hands. Like, oh no. And it's still like we just had one pair of hero hands. So then I had to kind of tuck it in because they would have repaired it later on, and then pretend hold the pack, which was rough because then that meant all of the weight was right on my low back, and my abs were literally what was holding that weight up. So that was pretty crazy. But yeah, I went to Legacy Effects, and they always have art and concept art, and they had pieces, um and my friend Tamara, she was building the suit because they also needed to into the suit as well to start to create the ratio of the width of the head
Mhm.
and its size compared to my body, because obviously it had to be built out. So and yeah, and then trying to figure out how she moved. And then studying obviously other Star Wars characters. I always tend to go right straight to the source, which for me is New Hope. And looking at all of the different alien characters in the cantina and stuff. And it's like, okay, they're aliens, but um, they all walk bipedal,
Mhm.
more humanoid. So I was like, I'm just gonna go for that and make some choices as far as how she moves based
Oh,
on her outfit and just her overall look.
yeah,
So,
she's such a cute
yeah.
character. I love seeing her.
Oh, well, I was blind in the head, and I'm one that I don't I unless there's something really going wrong, I usually don't watch my work. I try to prepare as efficiently as possible and bring what it is I have and know and want to create and do, and then just leave it be. So
Mhm.
I didn't really know um, how cute she was until I saw her. I was like, oh, she is really cute. And then, of course, obviously the layers of what ILM brought and her little blinks and D. Bradley Baker, his beautiful voiceover and cute noises and stuff. It was just yeah, she was a really a sweet surprise to see it all come together. It's
Oh,
great.
that is great. When The Mandalorian came out, it was the first time that Disney and Star Wars worked together and made a live action Star Wars series. Did you have any idea leading up to the release, the global phenomenon that it was going to turn into?
I knew it was really good. Um, just from reading John's scripts, and what he's developed with Dave Filoni and all of the directors. Um, yeah, from reading just even the first script, I was just drawn in, and there was part of me was like, I can't believe this is happening to me, and I'm a part of this, and also too, being a part of Star Wars. I know you know, it means so much to people, and so I didn't want to mess it up. So I, like studied my scripts and just was, did a lot of backstory study and wanted to bring it. And you always hope that people will love it. And for whatever various reasons, sometimes things hit or they're a miss or whatever. Um, but even just on set, uh, everybody came and brought their A game, and most of the people you could tell, even in our on our crew, Star Wars fans, especially because we worked on Halloween, and that was
Wow.
just the best day ever. It's always the best day ever because all of the crew are, up, and a lot of them wear like I remember our sound guy, even though it was freezing cold because it's October here, he wore the outfit that the sound guy wore when they were shooting Return of the Jedi in the
Oh,
desert.
wow. That's
It's
so
so
fun.
good. So yeah, it's just you do the work and you bring all of your heart and your passion and love to it. And then if and when it does really resonate with people and become a huge hit, that's just the icing on the cake.
I feel like I already know the answer to this, but between Quill and Frog Lady, which character do you think you personally are most like?
Both of them, to be honest. Um, Wheel has all of my life experience, but also Frog Lady does as well. Um, you know, and that was just what was such a character like Wheel to then this more, obviously feminine, softer, sweeter character, then bring a character to life that has all of that maternal love and instinct, but also survival skills too. Um, yeah, it was just it was great. I just always bring as much of my own life experience to it that I can. And even in, making some choices, especially when she's, for me in that moment, when she's talking to Mando desperately, trying to get him to help her, um, making it through so that underneath I'm feeling all that, and then it'll be able to bubble up and resonate out, and people really feel it. So,
Oh, that is great. So you've been a pirate and a bartender, and then also Kuiil and Frog Lady. Is there a species or a type of character that you have not been yet in the Star Wars universe that you would be interested in portraying?
um, I'm always open to whatever they want to bring to me. Um, 'Cause I always wanted to, and whatever species, or character that may be. So that's just the way that I kind of navigate through my life. And I'd love to impart more wisdom and within that realm and that type of character. So, because I know people have asked me before, Jedi or Sith, I was like, always to the light. So,
Oh, perfect. Do you remember the very first time you ever saw Star Wars?
Um, the first time I was really, really young, I remember the whole of the experience because my dad, uh, you know, got our entire family and packed them into the car, and we lived up in the mountains in a remote area. So our drives into a town were always, you know, 30 minutes, 25 minutes to 35 minute long. So it was a journey even to just get there. And I just remember it was big and it was space, and I remember the music. And I think that's probably the first memory I have is hearing John Williams, that soundtrack, and especially what's always resonated with me is the Jedi Force theme. Like I'll find myself like in my head just humming it. Um, it feels like it's always been a calling in a way.
Oh, oh, that's
So,
great. Yeah, that's really sweet.
yeah.
I was looking through your IMDb and it is very impressive. You've done stunt work for The Hunger Games Catching Fire, Planet Terror, Sin City, Van Helsing. How did you get your start in stunt work?
Gymnastics.
Oh,
I took my first gymnastics class when I was 2.5, and I was immediately hooked. And I, obviously went to gymnastics class, and then it got more serious for me when I was about 6, 7 years old. Started competing, and I trained all the way up to the elite level. So it was, kind of a fate thing where the production, the producers from Congo, they were seeking um, someone under 5 feet that has tremendous upper body strength, but really a whole body has to be strong and cardiovascularly strong. So obviously that pool of people as gymnasts. So
Mm.
they had approached the coach that I trained with as an elite, and he called me and said, "There's this audition, and you for it. So I think you should go." So, like, again, it felt like out of left field, this opportunity based on the whole of my life experience growing up. And that was my first job, Congo. And then I did the stunt work for the character Amy on that film. And so, obviously, working with all of the stunt performers and the stunt coordinator, it was just a fairly easy transition to then move into some stunt work as well. So,
Oh, very cool. When The Mandalorian releases on its weekly schedule on Disney Plus, do you do anything special to celebrate? Like, do you have friends and family over, or do you do anything special like that?
we did. Obviously, season one for sure. Had friends over every week, which again, I was dreading. Chapter seven, and of course, that's when so many friends came over, and I was literally like sitting in my spot sweating because I knew what was coming. And yeah, it was equal parts, such a fun experience to have to bring, friends over, and they were just so excited and they were loving the series. But, that moment afterwards was rough. And then season two, obviously, because we were moving through COVID, that was a little different. And then back to season three, yeah, people would come over and hang out. So it's been a good time.
Yeah, that's so
Lots of
fun.
parties.
All your friends must be so proud. Did you warn them ahead of time what was coming, or you just waited and saw their reaction?
Oh, I did not tell them, and so it was quiet. People were crying,
No.
and then to break the ice, I remember after, and it was good because it was just like a heavy um energy in the living room. My friend Garen, threw a pillow at me, and so then everybody threw pillows at me.
Oh,
It's like I, and yeah, and even on set, there was a lot. I think some discussions about, are you sure you want to do this? And it was necessary to tell the story and
yeah,
to it was necessary for Mando's arc, you know.
yeah.
So yeah. That was a bummer. Yeah, I got to Star Wars, and then when I read that, you know, chapter, I was just like, oh, I just got here. I want
I
to leave.
know. But the good thing is you got to come back. You got to come back. So
I
that is
know.
great.
So that
Frog
was,
Lady, just I would say
I know.
Frog Lady is as beloved as Kuiil is. So that's incredible that you like struck lightning twice. You know what I mean? Like you got two characters that people really resonated with and really adored. So that's
Yeah.
very cool.
It was
I
very
have
sweet because John, I after I had finished uh all of my shoot on season two, I had come to set just to hang out and visit one day, and I saw John Favreau, and he's like, "I think one-upped Quill. I don't know how you managed to do that, but I think this character is as special." And I was like, "No way!" So it was just sweet. Um,
oh,
but I love both of them equally and the
yeah.
same.
That is great. I have to ask while I have you, what was it like working with Grogu, Baby Yoda? Did you get to see him up close? Did you get because you got to hold him several times, right?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
and
What was that like?
every
Was that
day.
did that make you nervous?
No, you know, they would always obviously legacy that I was aware because they had several versions of him, and then here, Baby, which was the fully animatronic, head. And so they would like hand him to me. They'd be like, just so you know, this is the hero. It's like, I know, I promise I've got him. But yeah, it was very technical because first season especially he was tethered. And
Mm,
so He has an entire group of puppeteers as well. And so that was always, a lot. My favorite shoot day on season one was on Halloween. And we were shooting the scene where, I have him and I'm holding him and I'm walking towards the blurg and walking away from Mando and the group. And it was just like, and again, people are dressed up in their Star Wars Halloween outfits. And it was just this huge, um, to me, it looked like a parade because like camera was on a dolly so that they have their own big crew. I have my crew that's right there and Grogu's, and it's like it had to be timed, and it's like, and rolling, ready, everybody, three, two, go. So it was very fun.
Oh
So
my God.
you know what I mean? It's always interesting because the way I had to hold him was not the most comfortable, but
Mm,
it looked the best, for his little
yeah.
face and for him to pop a hand up and stuff. So I
Oh,
love working with him. Deb Chow, especially, she was like, because I would always kind of play with him and they would fire him up. So he was fully, animated and just hang out with him. And he's like, remember, you're a grumpy old man. You don't care about the baby. I was like, I know.
that is hilarious. No, he is adorable, and it's just crazy. Every time I go to Disneyland to see all the merch that they have, it's so creative. And everyone I know is like obsessed. Even I have like multiple Grogu things. They're like spread out throughout the whole place. And it's like, I don't know how it happens. Every time I turn around, I accidentally buy a new Grogu piece of merch.
Yeah, my roommate is super sweet. He recently bought a new floor mat and it's, Grogu and it says
Oh,
this is the way. It's like, oh,
that is
all
so
these
cool.
years later, yeah, love is forever for that
Oh,
baby.
yeah. Very sweet. Well, Misty, it has been so nice getting to speak with you and getting to know you. And I really appreciate this opportunity. And I can't say enough. Congratulations on all your success. And
Thank you.
thank you for bringing these incredible characters to life because your work is so important and is so cool to see these characters and just how beloved they become in the Star Wars community. So thank you, Misty. And it was very nice speaking with you.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for your very kind words. It really does mean a lot to me.
Oh, thanks.
Really.
In the meantime, where can people follow you to keep up with other upcoming projects you have?
Projects wise, obviously for many reasons, we have to keep that part quiet. I am working on a new song, but that's also a demo. Trust me, you'll understand hopefully if it goes. I'm mostly active, the most active I'd say on Instagram. Um, and other stuff that I've done, if people are curious about it, they can always find it on YouTube. So yeah.
Perfect. And I will make sure to put a link to your social media in the description of this video so people can come and follow you.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Misty. Very nice to meet you.
It was so nice to meet you too. Hopefully I'll meet you in person
Yeah,
someday.
hopefully. I know. I really hope so. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.